Well, good Friday evening, everyone. It is Friday here, a little bit before 7 p.m. Did want to get on and do a video. We do have a chance of some pretty significant severe weather tomorrow across parts of the southern plains, especially north and maybe north central Texas, into East Texas, kind of the Arklatex area, maybe over into Arkansas and Mississippi as well. So let's take a look here at kind of what models are showing, where the threat areas are, and kind of some of the environmental factors that will likely play a role in either the severity and also just how many of those severe storms that we do get tomorrow. So, do want to take a look at that. First, I want to take a look here at the overall environment that models are showing. This is the afternoon model run of the HRRR model, showing our dew points, our moisture quality. This would be tomorrow around 4 p.m. Central Time. What we can see here is that we do have these yellow and oranges. These are dew points here, modeling near Dallas Fort Worth around 72 degrees tomorrow mid afternoon. So, pretty extremely moist, unstable atmosphere. Got dew points into the mid 60s, even north of the Red River here. We'll have kind of a little bit of our kind of pseudo low pressure system here, a little bit of a dry line kind of down here, cold front slash kind of a warm front draped across here. And probably this area right here will be the likely area where we see the most significant severe weather chances here. So, as we see again, we've got that moisture that's kind of pooling ahead of the main kind of low pressure triggering event. And again, we do have some of those winds coming out of almost the southeast, which help to kind of funnel into the storm and certainly could create a more significant severe weather day. So, no problem with moisture here if you've been outside in North Texas today. It's close to mid 90s with a dew point in the mid 60s. It's pretty tough out there, certainly. And we're going to have another day like that tomorrow. So, moisture is not going to be any issue. One of the factors that we are going to have to watch tomorrow is really what we've got at play right now. This is our live satellite imagery across the US. And what we can see is we have lots of different storm features going on currently. And so we've got some of these storms off in the Texas Panhandle, even down into central Texas. We've got another kind of interesting line of storms here across northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma, up into Kansas, kind of almost starting to back build back to the west as these storms come off the higher terrain and move east. So this is going to be what's at play here in the overnight hours. And so when we look at the forecast models here, and let me go back, this would be kind of coming up here right about where we are right now. So we've got some of these storms, didn't really pick up on the storms here across central Texas, definitely underdoing it here in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, but definitely models are picking up on those storms here. As we move forward in time in the overnight hours, we've got a cluster down here that moves east. This cluster starts to really kind of come together across Oklahoma and Kansas, and it moves east southeast into the overnight hours. As we get into the early morning hours, we do have these storms that stay together and even start to reinvigorate around the Red River. This would be, 9, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, what's going to be interesting to see is how many storms we have present in the early morning hours and also how far south they extend. If we see that this model here is saying that we could even get a couple storms into the Dallas Fort Worth metro here around 18Z. So that would be around the lunch hour on Saturday. Now, it does depend on what time do these storms roll through and how far south do they get. Because if we get too much cloud cover, that could push our severe threat further south. But we also could see that these storms are early enough in the day that they kick off a little bit of kind of an outflow boundary that drapes to the south and then even back behind these storms to the west. And if that were to be the case, and then we move forward in time, we could actually see this outflow boundary trigger some more storms later in the afternoon. These would likely be where our highest severe threat would be kind of situated, would be in these storms kind of along this outflow boundary behind those initial storms. Now, if we don't get that outflow boundary or it's super cloudy, there's a lot of storms that are, not out by morning hours, that could maybe dampen the severe risk. So there are a lot of variables here. One thing that I've talked about in the past is that models don't do a great job of showing exactly what these storms are going to do overnight, how long they're going to last, how far south do they make it. Models really, really struggle with this, and this is going to play a pretty significant role in just the level of severe weather that we get tomorrow. So it is worth watching again. Based on this afternoon model run, we could see a little bit of a severe threat in kind of the late morning hours. And then this would look like this would be, again, kind of almost in the evening hours. I think that this is probably a little bit too late. I would think more likely maybe the 3 to 5 p.m. range is where we see the most significant threat kind of firing up. This would show one storm over basically Denton, and then another line of probably some isolated supercells from Wichita Falls down to maybe the Abilene area. So I think that certainly this area here across North Texas, Northeast Texas, another area here across Arkansas, maybe down to the Shreveport area and East Texas as well, is going to be that area for most significant severe threat tomorrow. And so we can kind of see those storms roll through. But again, I think models are going to change pretty significantly. So if you do have plans tomorrow for your Saturday, especially if you're going to be out and about, I would make sure that you have a way to monitor the updates to the forecasts. Certainly, the National Weather Service, the Fort Worth National Weather Service office. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you use. They'll be posting updated forecasts tonight into the morning hours as well. I think things, details, timing, that will all change. So make sure that you do have kind of an eye to the sky tomorrow because we could see some significant hail. I think the main threats are going to be damaging wind and some pretty decent sized hail that could certainly cause damage. Depending on how the storms really progress, if there's an outflow boundary, there is a chance that we could see a couple tornadoes, but it's going to be really dependent on some of those last minute details. So right now, it doesn't look like some major tornado outbreak or anything like that. But nonetheless, a pretty significant severe weather day on tap for our Saturday. So everyone have a good Friday evening and a good weekend, and certainly stay weather aware tomorrow. And I'm going to certainly be out there chasing and plan to do a live stream as well when I'm out there. So hope everybody has a good weekend, and I'll see you back for the next video.